party people.
Hey guys.
Hey.
How's everyone doing? All right. Thank you guys for joining. Hopefully you got a couple others in here as well. But we're going to get started. It is 5:01. Welcome back, Kira. We missed you last week.
Trying to unmute myself. I missed you guys. It feels so weird doing this every week and then having a couple weeks off. It's nice to be back and chatting, back in the routine.
Yay.
Good. Yeah. So, guys, I think you guys were here last week. We are talking about all things beyond the workout. So all those intricacies that are involved in living a healthy and balanced lifestyle that are apart from the exercise itself. There are so many other things we can do to love our bodies, treat it right. And a lot of that stems from, there's a lot that has to do with not just the workout and the strenuous activity. And that's exactly what we're going to talk about today, actually. And today our focus is on recovery. So quite the opposite of strenuous activity. So let's just dive right in, shall we? What's up, Sergio? Welcome. Let's dive right in. So we want to start the conversation around rest days. What do we do for rest days? How many rest days we should have throughout our week? So on and so forth. So I'll start with an example with me, and then you guys can take over. So rest days, obviously it depends on the type of person that you are, how much energy you have throughout your week, how much workload you have in your real work life job, how active you are, so how much strenuous activity you're actually doing. For me, I would say that I am a very active person on a scale of 1 to 10. I would say I'm pretty high up there. So for me, I definitely need, especially because of my job and my career, I need to give myself proper rest. If I do not, then I will not be able to perform properly in my work. I will not have enough energy to bring to the table when I'm teaching my classes, so on and so forth. And you guys know, we bring the fuego. So for me, I have to kind of force myself. Sometimes it is hard, especially working a job where I make my own hours, and sometimes clients ask me to work on weekends where those are typically my soft days or my low impact days or my rest days, and I have to adjust accordingly. So for me, rest days look a little different every week, if I'm going to be completely honest, but I do my very, very best to incorporate at least 2 full rest days out of the 7. So I try not to work out more than 5 days a week. That's just, I know my body, and I know that is what I need to fully be present in my job and my work and in my exercise regimen. So what rest days look like for me are sometimes different. For me, I definitely, 7 days a week I stretch. There's no doubt about that, regardless whether it's before a workout or after a workout, or doing yoga, or in the middle of the day, just sitting at my desk or whatever it is, and I'm just even doing seated stretches. So stretching, I'm constantly thinking about stretching. I stretch in the shower, I stretch before I lay in bed. Stretching is just one of those things that is easy for me to remember to do, not just because I know that I have to, but because it feels so good, and because my muscles are typically sore, and so I know what muscles I need to stretch out on any given day. So stretching is definitely a part of it. I love going for walks on the beach. That sounds so cheesy and corny. Long walks on the beach, sipping a margarita. Just kidding. But no, I do. I love going for walks. Those are a great low impact, sustained activity that I love to do. That is still active, but it is low impact, and it gives my body, it keeps that blood flowing and helps the muscles recover faster. What else do? I feel for the most part, stretching and going for long walks or even like a light jog sometimes, but I don't recommend that for people who, are already doing strenuous activity. I know for myself I can handle it, but that's, again, a very personal thing. And then, of course, eating the right foods, staying hydrated, constantly, like literally always holding a water bottle near my, if there's not a water bottle next to me, then there's something wrong. So I feel like all in all, for the most part, I would say that those are my rituals for resting. How about you, Kira?
Hey guys, so what Daniela was saying, I think I definitely agree with the fact that I probably I move my body every day. I probably work out 5 days a week, like a true workout, and I do a lot of my cacti workouts from our app, and so we have like everything laid out Monday through Friday for those, Monday through Sunday. So it's like every single day of the week there's a workout, and they're all under 20 minutes. And so because of that, my body doesn't necessarily like feel like it needs a rest day every single week. However, I know that like I'm not going to hit 7 out of 7 workouts a week just because of scheduling and time. And like sometimes I just don't feel like it. And because I know I don't need to do 7 days a week, I give myself that kind of like flexibility to know that I'll make up for it another day. And it's so ingrained in my routine that it's not like I'm kind of luckily past the point of needing to be so regimented where I'm like worried I'm going to fall off of them if I miss a couple. In that sense, like I think if you're earlier on in your workout journey and you're still trying to get consistent, then some of it is just trying to build that consistency, and following the schedule can be good. And I used to, but now for me, it's really just about figuring out when my body feels like it doesn't want to do anything, or when my mind feels like it doesn't want to do anything. And so that's like the one thing I would add to what Daniela said is that there's physical rest days, and then for me, there's also like mental rest days, and that kind of like trickles down to whether it's affecting my body or my mind. It's all kind of the same thing. Usually I'm just like when on days where I'm feeling overall fatigued and exhausted, I just give myself the day off of exercise. But I do like to do a long walk. So I live in New York. It's really easy to get my steps in, and I also have a dog, so there's plenty of opportunities to like walk outside with him. And so I try to like keep my steps up no matter what, just because it feels good, and because it also incorporates, like right now, luckily it's good weather here, so I'm able to be outside. I know in the winter I probably won't be like dying to go for long walks with my dog as much, but for now it's fun. And then the water is a huge thing. And also just going back to that mental rest, we can touch on this a little bit more later, but like putting my phone away is just so nice. Like sometimes after a long work day or like in the middle of a long week, I just want to actually like throw my phone across the room and not have to look at it, because I don't know if anyone else can relate, but it's like when so many people are messaging you about so many things at once, and you're just like, oh my God, like I literally cannot even like have this near me right now. And I get very like triggered by that. And so that's another thing where like I just need that rest sometimes, where like I can let my mind decompress and like lay on my back, and like whether it's doing a meditation or just having some silence. And I'm not saying for like all day, every day, but you can even incorporate that bit of rest, like that mental rest into your everyday. And I'll let Luis go before we get too much further into this, but I think like the cool thing about all these things we're talking about for rest days, like, you know, if there was one, maybe it's your Sunday or whatever, you can incorporate little pieces of this into your everyday. So like if you're like me and you have kind of less intense, Danielle and Louise work out more intensely than I do. Like that's a fact. We probably work out as often as each other, but I tend to do much more like low intensity, low impact workouts. And so because of that, like I don't get that trigger from my body that I'm sore necessarily. And I think, sometimes I do, don't get me wrong. I definitely get sore, but it's not like, oh my God, I literally can't move my legs. Like that doesn't happen to me very often. So I think it's just kind of like learning to listen to your body and understanding when you can replace a workout with walking, and also just knowing that I have the trouble of not being like I'm being lazy if I'm taking a rest day, and I think it's good to reframe that and think like I'm listening to my body, as long as you actually are and you're not just like skipping it to skip it. But if you're feeling really tired, like trust me, your body will thank you and bounce right back when you get back into it the next day. So yeah, that's my rest day situation.
All right, what's up, you guys? So basically, I love what Kira, first off, I love what you finished off with there because that is, I think, such a big part of it, especially as I was finding my own routine, my own workout routine, which was, for me, was way later in life. Like I was always active with sports and dancing and all that kind of stuff, but an actual like workout routine honestly didn't happen for me until I was like 22 years old, I want to say. And that was like when I really started hitting the gym. And at first, it really did feel like, okay, if I'm not seeing progress, if I'm resting, if I'm not doing anything for a day, like it feels like you're falling off the wagon. But at the same time, I think it's so important to listen to your body. And, like Daniela and Kira have mentioned, a rest day can be a light walk, can be stretching, can be a yoga class. It can be a variety of different things. So you can still move your body in a helpful and healthy way, right? With that said, things that I do, I stretch every day, every morning at least, right? I try to make sure I do that. And also, I try my best to have, yes, a full 1 or 2 days where I don't do anything strenuous because, as we've all mentioned, we work out every day. Basically, we're teaching classes, we're dancing, we're doing all these different things. So I try my best to do that where one day, sometimes if I can, I just literally stretch and that's the only thing I do. And then I just hang out or relax for the day or whatever whatever I have to do. I do like going on walks. Like, since I've been here in San Diego with my family, my sister and my dad and I on the weekends will take a day to just go on like a small little walk somewhere in San Diego. We'll find a cute little lake to walk around or something like that. So that's been really fun. I think one big thing for me is Epsom salt baths. That's been in the past year. It's become definitely a more regular thing. Partly because it is just a mental soothe, but it's also a physical, soothing. It's just nice to kind of have that like 20, 30 minutes or however long you want to take a bath for, I guess. But to have that time to decompress, have your phone away from you, just chill in the bath, meditate a little, breathe, whatever you got to do. And that doesn't have to be, I throw that in the middle of the week or, on days where the day is very crazy. And sometimes that is the best like recovery before bed for me type of thing. I also love what Kira said about the whole phone because for me, one of the biggest things was when I first got my Apple Watch, I was wearing it like I wake up, put it on, and then I take it off right before bed. But sometimes you need to take that off and put your phone away, and because it's so easy to get notifications on your watch and have it right there with you and all that kind of stuff. So I definitely feel like more recently I've tried to just take it off when I don't need it, because my main motivation for getting it was the fitness aspect of it, right? And as a trainer, and we use it for classes and things like that. So I think that's become a bigger thing, but the mental aspect is just as big. So, but yeah, so that's essentially what I do on my rest days. With that being said, we'd love to open up the floor and kind of get an idea of what you guys do, what kind of rituals or what things you like to throw in for recovery, for rest days. Do you take rest days? Are you having trouble taking rest days? If that's a thing that you're like, man, I really need to give myself more rest, feel free to share and we can help you out here. So opening up the floor, if you guys want to raise your hand, chime in, feel free. Don't be shy.
And I also just wanted to throw in, while you guys are raising hands, feel free to, I'll let you in as soon as you raise your hand. But I also just wanted to throw in that it can be recovery related as well. So I know we just talked about rest days, but like if you're thinking, oh, well, I'm not necessarily working out every day, so I don't really know if I need a rest day, because like maybe you're on like a 3-day-a-week workout plan or something and you have days where you are just not doing as much active movement. We can always still be recovering, right? And I think like a lot of the things that we just said for our rest days they all do fall under the category of recovery as well. So if you have just things that you like to share regarding recovery or rest days, we'd love to kind of chat about those. And while I wait, I'll just mention that, Carmen's coming in. I'll just mention that I just took an Epsom salt bath, Louise, like literally right before this call because I'm congested, if you guys can all hear. And it was like, I got in and I was like, oh my God, why didn't I do this yesterday? Like it was just like this immediate relief from my body. So if you haven't ever taken one, this is all of your sign.
Yes.
All right, Carmen, let's hear what you got.
Hey guys. So, yeah, I mean, I'm a big fan of yoga. I just have to say, in general, I've been doing yoga for 10 years, and I used to just do yoga. And then when I started working out more intensely and lifting weights, I would get really, really sore, like we're talking about. And I stopped doing yoga as much. But then I started doing yoga more, and I realized that I need a balance. So for me personally, in my body, I've realized I can work out pretty intensely 4 days a week if I do yoga the other 2 days. Now, everyone's different. Some people just do yoga every day. They never lift weights or whatever. But like, I think for me, if I'm lifting heavy or doing the HIIT workouts where I'm gonna be feeling sore the next day, I have to do yoga a full 45 to 60 minute session at least twice a week, just to keep everything long and lean, or else everything just gets so tight and then pain gets introduced to my body. And then my other tip is I'm just a big fan of massage, any kind of massage, self-massage, like give yourself a foot massage. You can get a massage gun. I know Eric has one. Or like an ice roller or ice packs or heating packs, like those pillows with the rice in them, and you can put them in the microwave. Like anything that you can get like that, that's my jam.
I love that so much, and I suppose that rice bead thing that you were talking about, I actually have, that reminded me of a sleep mask that I got that has beads in it, and it's the most incredible thing that I've purchased to date. Ryan also agrees. We share it, and we're one night I'll wear it, the next night he'll wear it, and it's just it rests on your eyelids a little bit soft, a little heavier. It's kind of like a weighted blanket in a way, and it's so nice to just fall asleep with that. And I wanted to, with that said, Crystal, yay, I'm so excited you're jumping on. With that said, I wanted to talk about real quick that the self-myofascial release that you were talking about, Carmen, is so incredible. Yes, Eric has a muscle gun. He won it in a raffle in our last event. So yay, Eric. Well, I can't wait to hear if you've even used it yet. But muscle gun has been a game changer for me as well. I use it, it's not every day, every other day, and it's a beautiful way to not just for muscle soreness, which it's a phenomenal tool for muscle soreness, but it can also be used before your workout to loosen up your muscles and release any lactic acid buildup, especially if you've been sitting around all day long, and that helps you, your muscles, it helps increase your range of motion throughout your workout and all that stuff. So it's very similar to that foam rolling effect. It helps release everything. So it's basically like stretching your muscles in a more intense way than just a quad stretch, for example. You can really get in a little bit deeper into that fascia. That, and also it's a beautiful tool for self-care. For example, if you're one of those people who are looking for a ritual to do in the morning or something, and maybe you do you wake up and you want to get your coffee brewing, and while your coffee brews you do a 3-minute meditation or something, and literally 3 minutes is good. You're doing 3-minute meditations, it's great. It doesn't have to be an hour-long meditation for you to feel like you're in the right place. But then you can also grab your muscle gun and start on a light setting, massaging the bottom of your feet. And you guys, it is the most incredible feeling, getting under your toes, getting into the sole of your foot and the arch. It's such a delicious feeling. So if you guys have a muscle gun, or even a lacrosse ball or a tennis ball, and you can rub your foot on it, it's so nice. Just think about how much you walk around all day long, how much you jump on your feet and your workouts and all that stuff, and your feet don't get enough love. So just as a reminder, self-care is a beautiful form of resting, and those are just some tips on how to do that. Okay, Crystal, hey girl.
Hello everyone. Well, I love everyone's suggestions on recovery, and for myself personally, I'm not let's say Carmen, who works out more regularly. So I'm that person that Kira had mentioned, that works out 3-4 times a week. So not that I necessarily need a recovery day, because I'm already recovering on those other days. But if I do feel like my body just feels tight, or I could use, some stretching, or maybe I had a hard workout one week because I don't work out as often, and, I'm sore. I've really enjoyed doing like yin yoga or restorative yoga, and I find that to be a good way to kind of like open up my hips and allow for, those natural fluids in our bodies that are supposed to work kind of like that, W2 or whatever it is. But I feel like that really helps out a lot. I also like I don't remember if it was Lise or Daniela that mentioned the baths, but I love doing a bath with some eucalyptus oil in it, and I find that to be really, relaxing and therapeutic for me. Carmen also reminded me of, I bought this like ice pack that you can wrap around your leg, and when I used to work out more intensely, my body would feel sore for longer periods of time, and getting that wrap that wraps around your leg with it's like a reusable ice pack, that would help me out a lot with recovery as well. I've also found that taking magnesium supplement is beneficial, and a new thing that I just got into is using this CBD cream that has a little bit of THC, and it's like a topical. I have both a cream and an oil, but that right there, personally, I find that to be like a miracle cream. It does wonders, and I could be in so much pain. I put that on, and I feel so much better. So that is like my new favorite thing whenever I'm feeling sore or any kind of pain. So yeah, I just wanted to share those things. That's all.
I love it. Thank you for sharing that. Eucalyptus oil bath sounds absolutely delicious. I'm going to have to try that. And I love the fact that you mentioned supplements, using magnesium as a supplement. Vitamins and supplements are so essential for recovery. There's so many things that you can find out there that will help support your immune system, support your bone and joints, all those things. We all know all that. One thing that I do want to mention specifically towards muscle recovery is, I'm sure you guys have heard a lot, especially lately. It's been like super popular, like marketed like crazy, but BCAAs, so your amino acids, and there are, I forget how many exactly, but there are like lots and lots and lots of amino acids. There's essential and then there's non-essential, and amino acids are typically already like found in the body. They're like natural chemicals found in the body, but there is one specific one called creatine, I'm sure you guys have heard of it, that helps support muscle recovery. And you can, again, our body produces creatine naturally, but you can also find it like in eggs and fish and beef, pork, tofu, all that stuff. And it is really, really, really great for, basically what it does is it helps, it's basically, it gives your muscles energy. So before and or after a workout, it's really great to have a little bit extra creatine, so that your performance can be enhanced, so that you can help your, like, if muscle growth is a thing that you want, it can help increase muscle growth, but also don't fear it, because again, we naturally produce it in our body, but it helps like protect our muscles, and gives us that like overall physical, like optimal performance, essentially, is what I'm trying to say. But yeah, find those like essential vitamins and supplements that work for you, that feel good for your body, and those are also great additions to recovery. What's up, Eric? Hey.
Hey, how's everybody doing? My road to recovery, I guess that's maybe not appropriate. Recovery for me was prompted by an injury. Specifically, I'm 6'3", and I'm about 200 pounds. Well, I'm less than 200 pounds now, but I'm two bills. I'm like a tall and large person, so like my knees have hurt since I was in high school. I played volleyball, basketball, lots of jumping, lots of bouncing around, some track and field, and like I wasn't listening to my body when my body was hurting like a little bit. So when I reactivated my fitness life as an adult, those injuries become more intense and heal less quickly. And so like you do have to become more in tune with your body. So if your body's like, hey, this is not like feeling so good, and then you're like, oh, I can power through. Well, maybe if it's like a ligament or joint, like don't power through, because you can like very easily continue to hurt yourself, even though like, you know, as a young kid, you might have been able to do everything. So my recovery days are very, thank you, Olivier, for the muscle gun. I know he's not here, but that was a really fun gift, and it really helps. And I realized that I wasn't stretching enough before and after working out. I have a foam roller, was not using it often enough. So like foam rolling out muscles and like taking time, like while I'm watching TV at the end of the night, to relax and roll out those muscles and stretch while I'm sitting idle, and it actually feels good. CBD definitely helps. If you partake, THC as a sometimes activity can definitely help, especially when stretching. It's like one of my favorite activities. But yeah, that's kind of how I started to realize how important these recovery days and recovery moments are in my life.
I think that's such a, you brought up a couple of really great points, Eric, so thank you for sharing. One of them being that, you know, it's one of those things where, especially if you are, whether you are or you aren't active or you're just starting, so many people that I talk to know that stretching and foam rolling and all that stuff, they know that they should be doing it every day. But how many people really stick with it, right? Or really do it? And that's the hard part. It's really hard for some people to just get into it or make that a part of the routine, which is crazy because, you know, it's so crucial. But I think even carving out like 10-15 minutes a day to like, or on the days, especially on the days you work out, you know, whenever it is, but like carving that little 10-15 minutes, when you think about it, it's not that crazy, right? It's 10 minutes of your time, but carving out that time to stretch. But I think that's like one of the biggest things, is sometimes it's just hard to get into it. And you know, there are videos that you can watch that lead you through stretching. We have Fuego on Demand videos. We have, you know, even just online, everywhere. There's so much content online that you can get to, but it is really hard to like make that a part of it. You know, sometimes it is that moment where you realize you have to, that forces you to, but if we can get there before and prevent all of that, then the sooner the better. But another point I also wanted to bring up was, or that you brought up that I kind of wanted to touch on, was the idea of pushing through the pain, right? And that's what a lot of people also ask, or they kind of, people say, you know, is it soreness or is it pain? So it's very important to kind of listen to your body and know the difference, right? There's a difference between you being sore and your muscles just being tired, and there's a difference when it hurts to work out. If it hurts to work out, then you should listen to your body and you should slow down, right? You never want to be at that point where you like can't go anymore necessarily, because we want consistency. We want that consistent and gradual growth, and you know, with our workouts. So it's always important. Yes, we want to push ourselves past our limit or push ourselves to that extra level, but we don't want to push ourselves too fast or too hard. So again, consistency is so important, and listening to your body. But just wanted to kind of bring that up. So thank you for sharing, Eric.
I also wanted to mention two things that are kind of back to that, and then kind of back to what everyone's been saying, but it just made me think of. But one, for stretching, Eric, I'm like you, and unfortunately not like Danielle and Louise. I don't have like a built-in stretching routine, right? Like I feel like I do stretch a decent amount, but it's not something that I'm like this time every day I do it. It's just not something I made a priority. But what I would say, if anybody else feels the way that I do, just like my take on how to make sure you can kind of start building it into your routine is at the end of your workout, because you're already like there probably with the equipment or like already moving your body, and it's kind of like a wind down. And then honestly, like I just tell myself, it's like, then I don't have to do it later because I kind of know I won't. And so like it's, you know, it's now or never kind of thing. And then the other thing is what Eric said, which I love, which is like when I'm watching TV, like I don't watch a ton of TV, but if it's on at night, it's to me, like, honestly, it's like a relaxing thing to stretch and then have the TV on, and like you're, instead of just laying on the couch like kind of uncomfortable and sore, like to just stretch while you're watching it, and you're already just sitting there anyway. And also another trick to like put your phone away. Like how many times do we find ourselves watching Netflix while also on our phone? Like it's stupid. So it's a good way to get your phone out of your hands and like just like be kind of like, I mean, I guess it's still multitasking, but just like relaxing and focusing on one thing. And that's, I mean, especially if you're someone that does like watch TV every evening or do something that's kind of like a wind down, you know, whatever it is, listen to podcasts, listen to Clubhouse, whatever it is, like in the evenings, it's a good time to even just get that like 5-10 minutes in. The consistency is all that matters. And the other thing is with that is like, as Louise was saying, if you're feeling like so sore from your workouts that you can't really move the next day, like you probably went too hard, because we're all about like consistency and being like able to be active and functional. And if you're like way too sore to move, then it's probably like, you know, then you're not going to be able to properly work out the next day or recover when you need to, or maybe, or, you know, and if you do hit that point, I'm not saying like shame on anyone that does that, but if you do hit that point, then make sure to take the proper recovery. Like, don't try to jump back in, and then, because that's how injury happens, right? It's like you're tight and you don't realize it, and you make the wrong move, and it's all so quick, and then you're like kind of screwed. So I've made that mistake too, especially like with my back. So I think like that's just something super important to think about too, is the stretching can definitely help, but also like being real with yourself about whether, you know, how your body feels when you're done working out and how your body feels the next day. And like that goes both ways. If you feel like you could be moving it more, if you feel like you could be moving it more gently, like there's all different ways that could go, and each person's experience is going to be so different. But like, even for me on the opposite side, I just spent a week being very social, and now I'm like kind of sick, and also like didn't really work out last week. So it's like, I'm no shame on myself. I'm feeling good about it, but it's like this week I'm really focusing on getting my body to a place where it feels better. So I think all of the recovery and rest really just comes situationally, and it's going to be different for each person. And then the one last thing I wanted to say was, everyone has been talking about things that are like so relaxing and that I personally like to do at night. And one thing that I don't think we've really touched on yet is sleep, and like how much sleep is important for your rest and your recovery. And all of these, like the hot baths, getting in warm water, like actually scientifically relaxes your body and basically tells your body it's like time to calm down. So that's a really good way to get yourself tired. Same with like Daniela said, the weighted eye mask, or like a weighted blanket, like kind of putting weight on your body. I don't know how the science works, but I know it boosts your melatonin. So it like helps you feel more tired. And same with the magnesium that Crystal was saying, really helps you get a good night's sleep and like helps your muscles recover. But ultimately, like our bodies do the most recovery, in our minds, in our heads, in our everything while we're sleeping. And so at the end of the day, we could be doing all of these things during the day, but if you're not giving your body the time to chill out and like actually shut down to that level that we all as humans need, it's just not going to happen. And I was someone that like pre-COVID and even into COVID, like I was like I only need 6 hours of sleep a night. I can work at all hours of the day. Like I just thought I would like tell myself that I was that person, but I'm so much like happier and clearer that now that I have a more regular sleep schedule. And I think my body, it's like I always wake up ready to work out. I always wake up feeling comfortable, and I think it's because I give myself proper recovery time. So yeah, I mean, all of these tips can go both ways, but if you can use them as like your kind of nighttime routine, wind down for sleep routine, then it kills two birds with one stone. You get your like active recovery plus a better night of sleep altogether. And that's my soapbox.
I love that so much. No, yeah, and I'm so glad you brought up sleep, because at the end of the day, yes, like sleep is, I think, the end-all, be-all, number one priority. We can do all of these things. We can take these vitamins. We can take these supplements. We can yada yada yada. The list goes on of all these recovery tips. But if we're not, we're not, like, to your point, if we're not giving our body enough sleep, like full 100% rest, then we cannot expect to perform the next day. It's like a snowball effect, you know. Like you take you sleep little, you're sleep deprived one day, and then the next day it's like you're sleep deprived again and again and again and again, and all of a sudden your body is just like beyond stressed. And I want to talk about stress as a form of being the opposite of recovery, right? So stress comes in so many different forms. We can get stressed at work. We can get stressed in our workout. We're putting our bodies under stress, so on and so forth. If we are not sleeping, then our body is going to get stressed out even more. And what getting stressed out does is it causes hormone imbalances. When your body has hormone imbalances, then that can cause inflammation. And when that causes inflammation in the body, it's limiting your body's ability to recover properly. So again, stress equals hormone imbalances. Hormone imbalances equals inflammation, and that is the opposite of what we want when we want our body to recover properly, especially when we put our muscles under stress as well. So our muscles are, and this is a question that that Paula, she's not here right now, but she asked before, and I want to bring this up because I feel like it's all related. She asked if like pain or soreness ever stops at a certain point if you work out often enough. And the answer to that is, well, it depends, because of course what Kira was saying before, her workouts are a little shorter and they're more low impact. And so it just depends on like what your goals are. If you're looking to have more like muscle gain, and you're loading your body more than what you're used to, incrementally, hopefully is the goal, like over time, then yes, you're going to always feel some kind of sore, but that's a good thing. That means that it's actually working. Think about every time you're putting load onto your body, and you're like every time you're doing a bicep curl, every time you're extending that muscle, you are tearing that muscle. You're literally tearing your muscle apart. And think about like when if you get if somebody punches you and you get a bruise, you're never gonna, if somebody punches you every single day or every other day, you're never gonna stop bruising, right? It's the same thing. Like if you continue to work out, you're gonna feel sore, but that's a good thing. Your muscles are tearing apart. But that is why it's so important to recover, because when we're recovering, we're allowing our muscles to repair. And sleep and baths and anything and things that reduce inflammation, like those amino acids, like protein. We haven't even covered that part yet, but like the nutrition, the things that you're feeding your body before and after a workout are so important. All of those things are going to help reduce that inflammation in the body and help those muscles and those tears repair faster. And then the last thing I'll say before is, Eric, to your point, and everybody, were talking about listening to our body and this like stigma of like being lazy if you skip a day, or being lazy if you're like, oh my gosh, I shouldn't be resting today, I'm so lazy, blah blah blah. And to Eric's point, like if you don't rest, it can be it literally will be detrimental to your body in terms of there is a thing called what is it called? Overtraining. Sorry, I was like overworking out. It's not overworking. Overtraining. It's called overtraining. And if you overtrain your body, then you are so much more likely to get injured. And guess what happens when you get injured? You can't work out for even longer. So it's like counterintuitive, right? So if you're giving your body enough the proper rest and the rest that it deserves, then you're going to be much better off. And I know I said that was the last thing I was going to say, but I also remember this one thing. it's funny because every time I teach a group class in person. People are usually like in and out the door, right? They go in, they want like the hard workout. They even eye roll at the warm up. They're like, ugh, why do we have to warm up? I just want to get in it. First of all, warm up is so important for your body to prevent injury. And then even more so at the very end, I see people just flying out the room after the last sprint on the treadmill, and I'm just like, I stop everyone. I'm like, look, before their last sprint, I'm like, hey guys, if you need to go, that's okay. Just please make sure you give yourself plenty of time to stretch tonight before you go to bed. You guys know, especially if you've taken Fuego before, you know I'm so I stress the fact that stretching is so important. But it really, really is. Like, you have to give your body that, like, wind down, like Hira was saying. Slowly cool it down appropriately. Not only is your heart rate slowing down, all your muscles are just, like, your blood is flowing so quickly. Like, you need to properly give yourself the amount, like, stretching is literally just as important as the workout. And it's going to help you recover that much faster and be less sore. So I always tell people, I'm like, please don't forget to stretch. Like, just don't forget to do that. But after a workout is the perfect time to do it. So, okay.
I wanted to really quick say off of that too, Daniela, that with the, running, so kind of to combine that and the stress situation, think about it this way. If you're working out, especially if it's something super high intensity, like, your body is, producing endorphins and good happy chemicals, but it's also like raising your cortisol to be doing that much exercise, especially at high intensity, but really any exercise at all. Like, anything that's pushing your body out of its normal kind of like resting state, you're raising all of that up and your stress levels. And it's not necessarily bad stress, but then if you run out the door and then let's say it's your morning workout, you run home, you shower as fast as you can, you're like blow drying your hair, you're still sweating, you're like trying to get your clothes on, you're still sweating, and then you run out the door and you're like, oh shit, I'm late for work, and you're trying to catch the train and it's running away while you're like running up to it, and then you're stressed, and then you get to work, and then you have your whole inbox of emails, and like you can understand how stress would take over, and like all of these things, all of a sudden you're feeling like burnt out, you're feeling horrible. By the end of the day, you're always exhausted. Like, I've totally the reason that I'm describing this in such detail is because when I used to live in Chicago, like, this was my life, and like I was still a happy person, but I never felt good. I truly, like, I was like, why don't I feel good? I'm doing everything right, I'm working out, I'm working hard, I'm meditating, I'm doing all of this, but it's like I never gave myself the chance to like relax. And when you look at it that way, as like you're running from high energy to high energy and your day never stops, and then at the end of the day you just like let it all drop off and you fall asleep, it's like that's a really like that's a lot to put your body through all day, and your mind, and just like yourself. And so I think it's interesting how I was even just listening to Daniela go over those topics, that like it does all relate back, and so it all really does so much sense. We resist recovery so much because sometimes recovery is hard because you have to slow down, and our society is not a slow-paced society. Like, we're used to doing things quickly, and you also have to, a lot of times, your body hold, like in different areas of your body, you hold emotion. So if you're stretching your hips, for example, like a lot of times a lot will come up in your mind, and you're also, you need to be patient because you need to hold stretches for a little bit of time. And some of us, like, we really don't even spend a minute in the day just sitting there with our thoughts, and you're like, okay, I have an email, I have to do something, So I'm not saying it's easy to recover, even though these things sound like, oh, I'm just stretching my leg, this should be easy, or like I'm taking a bath without my phone, this should be easy, and I'm bored. But it's like, those are good chances to check in with yourself. And if it does feel super uncomfortable, like, ask yourself why. Like, why is this so uncomfortable for me? Mm-hmm. And like, kind of like also as Daniela was saying about working out and do you ever get less sore, same thing comes with that stretching. And even like, I'm huge on meditating, it's like it doesn't ever get exactly easy because every day new language shit comes up, and like it's not necessarily bad, but it's just like there's always going to be new things on your mind, right? And so when you go to calm your mind again, or like center yourself, there's going to be new things always floating around there. And I think that all of those things are the same, and that's why rest is not just physical but also mental, and why doing them all in tandem is so important, you know, just all in all, giving yourself the chance to fully allow your body to, we just both did the same hand motion on the screen, but really shut it down, you know. And I think, I hope that this is like exciting to you guys to kind of like put this into motion. I know this has been like, I want to go stretch right now because this made me feel like, oh yeah, I haven't done that in a couple days, and that would feel really good. But yeah, I think it's like, these are things that we should want to do just as much as we want to do the workout and want to do the work, is like the kind of like relaxing and calming down, because you'd be so surprised how much you can find out about yourself when you get quiet and like when you just give yourself a minute of the day. So that's all.
Well, I definitely feel like I'm gonna go take a bath tonight. So thank you. I'm like, actually, that's a 1,000% going to happen. But yeah, I guess just, you know, I love that, bringing it all together, because like we talked about last week about the whole holistic fitness, right? It's about mental, emotional, psychological. It's a million and one things. So your body listens to all parts, you know, whether we're holding tension, whether we're working on relieving that tension, whatever it is. So I think it's just overall theme again is to have it all take time for yourself, not only physically but mentally, emotionally, all that stuff. So everyone here, promise me you're gonna take at least one plus more than one, but 1 minute of your time this week to just sit with your thoughts and relax and chill out for a second. So
actually, that's good homework. Let's have, next time we chat next week, let's hear what everyone did this week to relax and to reset, and all of us included. We will come back to you and tell you something new or different that we did to recover this week.
Yeah.
I love that so much. I also wanted to say to Luis's point, his last point just now, where we are talking about a lot, like the holistic fitness is not, it's like there's a lot that goes along with it, and we touched on this last week, but it's about like not stressing ourselves out about doing it all. So by no means are we trying to add something more to your plate, but it's picking that one thing that you might want to do this week. Remember, we talked about that filling up the water bottle, right? So fill up your water bottle just a little bit this week, and then you can continue to fill it up throughout the rest of the month. It doesn't have to be filled up all at once. So remember that just picking one thing a week to start to incorporate and to start stacking into your habit creation and all that. And then it's trial and error, picking and choosing what works, what doesn't work, what feels good, what doesn't feel good, what feels natural, what doesn't feel natural, what feels forced, so on and so forth. Maybe an Epsom salt bath is like the worst thing in the world for you. I don't know. I mean, look, to each their own. Maybe you don't have a bathtub, and that's another thing. You know, maybe you find a different way to do it. But finding something, whether it's the self-myofascial release, whether it's just like what through the muscle gun, or the foam rolling, or the sitting with yourself and relaxing, or the bath, or going to bed an extra 30 minutes earlier just to see what it feels like when you wake up in the morning. You know, there's so many different ways. Maybe committing to drinking an extra glass of water a day. That's even sometimes enough. So maybe it's a matter of, if you're not good at drinking water, which hydration we know is so important for muscle recovery and for reducing stress and inflammation. Maybe it's setting a reminder on your phone. I know there's like literally there are apps out there, because I used to have one. It was like, and I used to need it, and it was like watering your plant. And if you didn't, every time, like your phone would give you a notification to water your plant, and which I love that, because that's kind of like the analogy that we talked about with the filling up the cup. You know, every time you water your plant, you have to take a sip of water, or you used to like drink like 8 ounces of water, however much you've like committed to on your plant. And if you don't water your plant, then your plant dies, right? So it kind of just like, it's cute, because it's like, if you like to do those little things, if you like to take care of something, then it's a great way to take care of your little digital plant, at the same time drink water. A fun little tip. Any last thoughts, you guys? Carmen, Crystal, Eric, Brian, Sergio, anybody? Any last thoughts? Any last comments, questions, all the things? Please feel free to unmute yourself. And if not, that's okay too. If you guys have any questions, is Kira, Luis, you guys have any last thoughts?
Just take that time this week, you guys. That's really the main one. Take that time. Please, please, please.
Yeah, last thing I'll say, and then we can wrap it up, is just, add something new to your plate, just one little thing. Or, you can also, I think I just turned, Sergio, hi, go ahead.
No, I wanted you to finish first.
Okay, I'll finish.
Thank you.
I was just going to say you can always swap something out instead of adding something new. Like if you had a workout maybe one day a week this week, just take one less workout and use that as your recovery day if you're having trouble finding the extra time. And now, Sergio, it's all you.
Yeah. I just want to tell you guys thank you, because it's been like for months that I was wondering how do you guys recover, and I keep forgetting to ask. So like hearing everybody's different recovery, like I feel like I'm always like learning something here. Mine is just rest, but like I've always been curious, so I'm glad you guys did this topic. And that was it. Thank you guys.
Sergio, you're so welcome. Also, wait, Sergio, can I have your permission to share what you told me the other day?
Of course.
Okay. Not to put you on the spot, but Sergio has lost 19 pounds since he started working out with me. Everybody give him a shout out.
Woo!
That is amazing. That's so good.
Amazing.
It's the Fuego Fam. Like, keep the body moving, and do the schedule. And yeah, no, thank you guys. Like, it's like, I feel like I have a strong support system, and I don't know how to like put it into words, but like, you guys are a huge part of my journey, and I thank you.
Oh, we love you so much. We love all of you guys, and that's what we're here for. We're all here to support each other, and that's why we started these Clubhouse chats to like support each other, talk, learn about more about everything with each other, learn from each other, and all that. So we appreciate you guys participating, sharing your stories, sharing your thoughts, and as always, if you guys have any other questions, comments, that you couldn't think of at this moment, or anything else you want to share later on, DM us, text us, call us, all the good things. We're always here for you, and we are super excited for next Tuesday. We'll see you guys all there. Have a beautiful, beautiful rest of your evening.
Good night, guys.
Yay, thanks you guys.
You guys.